you're taking a rest, and that's not the same thing as being absolute void of worth. It feels like that because we're taught to believe that the GDP and money and these metrics that are false are a good metric to measure how valuable we are. And valuable we confuse with worth. Like when we think of something and its value, money is the exchange of value. So we automatically assume, well, I don't have any money, I'm worthless to society, I'm not doing anything, I'm worthless in general. Well, that's not true. That's just not true. If you stand in the sidewalk, and I'm not saying to do this, or if you stand in the street, people will move around you. They won't walk directly through you as if you're invisible, because you're not invisible and you mean something. You may not believe that you mean all these beautiful things that people say, especially in the spiritual field, but you mean something. You're inherently worthy just for being alive. And why that doesn't make sense sometimes because we don't feel that inside. And we don't feel that inside because when we're looking out, all we're reflected is, what can you do? How much money do you have? And like this is said over and over, but I just want you to really understand, because right now if you're feeling this and you clicked on this, that means that you're in a period of rest and you're in a period of introspection. And every time, what happens after a period of introspection, just like a woman on their cycle, after they are done with their cycle and when they're done with their bleeding part of their cycle, they have the most energy that they had, and they just release the most that a body could release, or it feels like that, So just because you're feeling this way, you don't need to resist it. That's a really big, important thing. And I'm speaking from exactly where I was and get to sometimes. And this mindset, and these are all the things that have helped me make my way towards creating again and make my way towards working with a smile on my face and having a life that I actually enjoy. So that's the caveat, is when you're not believing that you're worthless and you start to believe in yourself and you start to feel that worth and that love for yourself for just being alive, but you can actually feel that in here and it's not a lie because you can feel it, your life starts to change. But how do we get from there to there? And it isn't really like a linear process. I was gonna draw it because it's more like a cycle. And I talked about this in another video, but it's really, really true. You have different cycles within your life, and the only thing you're trying to do in your life is come back to what feels good. That's all we're trying to do. Every addiction that you have, whether it's smoking or talking to girls or guys or running into relationships or making like anything a habitual addictive pattern, it's to try to make yourself feel better. Eating, smoking weed, smoking cigarettes, like drinking, if it becomes an addictive pattern, it's to avoid how you're currently feeling and you're thinking that it's going to make you feel better. So that's okay. That's just awareness. We have to just understand when we're doing that. And why we're doing that is because we want to get ultimately closer to ourselves, because we are conditioned by society, by other people in your life, your parents, your society, your whole family, then your friends in school, and all these conditionings that happen as we grow up. And every generation goes through it. Everyone has different ones. Some of them we have the same, right? It depends on where you grew up. It depends on all these beliefs that you hold. So it's not going to change overnight. This video, a string of videos is not going to help you. But it's not going to change you. But what you can start to do is one technique that has changed my entire life, and it's just feeling. Putting your attention on inside of you and starting to incrementally, the best that you can, in the moments that feel less scary at first. You incrementally feel. So like say you're in the car and you just got done with a cigarette. or you just got done with an addiction and you have this feeling come up and you need to start to do the next thing, take a second to just for a split second, start to feel. Start to recognize what's happening within me. And then you can go on to the next action. And the more that you choose to look inside, the more life is going to like reward you, kind of like tokens, is going to reward you for that time to look inside. So you don't have any time, yes, we all have conscious awareness space. Even if you're working 24/7, which is impossible, you're not doing that. But you're working. Just think about your work day and you're working. You still have conscious ability to think, how am I gonna perceive this call coming in? How am I gonna perceive this? And I bet you have 10 seconds to stop and just check in with how you feel. And you do that over and over and over, and you make a habitual practice out of it. And it starts to get you to a space of stronger willpower to where then you can change physical things in your life. You can make different decisions. You can smoke a little bit less. You can, maybe you can plan a trip and not hate yourself the whole time for it. Maybe you can, in this situation, take a rest, take a whole day, one of your days off to just completely rest, or half the day, and just sit with those thoughts that are coming up, sit with that uncomfortable feeling. Do you ever notice sometimes when you're sick and you're just like in your bed for like a half a day or like a whole day, all your addictions, like you're just so focused on yourself and you're getting better. You're not really focused on smoking and drinking and whatever else the addictions are. You're kind of like, I can only focus on how shitty this feels and I kind of just want to sleep. Well, sometimes your body is asking you to do that. And just because you don't feel like you have worth, it doesn't mean that you're inherently worthless, right? Like we believe that we are based on how people have treated us, based on how society has treated us, based on how we think about what numbers in our bank account mean, if we're on the street or not. I've been homeless before, and I look back, and now I want to live on this commune and with the nature and everything, and like, wow, I had like way less responsibility then. But you know what my mind said? I'm a piece of shit. I can't make decisions. I was driving my bike and a fork in the road came up. I couldn't even make the decision to go right or left. I just couldn't do it. My mind was so active. And somehow I stumbled upon the life and I made it here. And obviously things have changed. But why and how? And this is what I like to dissect because it's like important that we record this stuff. This is kind of stuff that was lost in history, and now it's all over. But my idea of it in this video is a practical approach to how you can actually do that. Like incrementally do that if you feel you are just worthless. And it doesn't, just because you're struggling doesn't mean that you're completely worthless. I just want you to know that. And just sit with that for a second. You're struggling for a reason. You're struggling because people in your life never believed in you. Because people in your life, they wanted to see you crash because they never got to feel that feeling of love and that feeling of joy and have things be so fucking easy. You get something and it was easy, or it just seemed easy to them, they wanted to destroy that for you. You're good at something and they're not as good as you, they want to rip you down. They wanted to. And they did. And you believed it. And there's nothing to be ashamed about. Because that's just, external. Maybe they're right. And that's in your mind. But that's not who you are. You're still good at those things. You still have that capability. You still have all of this energy and this capability within you. When they're not there, or when the external stimuli saying you are a piece of shit, you don't belong, is not there, you resonate at your own damn frequency. So how is this the thing? This is societal conditioning. This is where our beliefs come from. And we like to fit in. And now in society, we felt something was wrong. Something is wrong in the government, in the elite, in the elite's way of like creating the world and taking our resources. We always felt this our entire life. It doesn't feel good driving down the highway, blah, 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 blah. It just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. We want to all be on land, drinking from the water that's just already there, and it's cleansing itself because running down the mountain, it's running through moss or however it cleanses itself outside. There's no shit in the water. We want these natural things that are just right fucking here. So you are right here, deep in there, and you gotta scrub off the layers of shit and beliefs in your mind and these things that you believed were you. But really, it's your heart, your ability to love. Your friend comes over, they just got broken up with, or their pet passed away, or they're hurt. You just want to help them. You just immediately are like, drop into empathy, and you just start giving. Hey, you can sleep on my couch. Hey, do you want a blanket? Hey, do you want some tea? Do you want to talk about it? I'm just here. I'll just listen. You don't have to say anything. And you like to listen. Because you're just like, yeah, oh, I've been there. You know, and you just listen to them. And then that is healing. And you didn't do anything. You didn't physically have to do too much. You already had that open couch. You already had that blanket there. You love your friend. Love makes you want to give. Love makes you want to give to the world. And that's why it's important to unlock that. But from a space of feeling like you just want to rest and feeling like shit about it, and you're struggling, it just means that you need that love for yourself. And some of us have never even felt that before in our lives. Some of us have never even felt that before in our lives. And that's the greatest tragedy of this entire universe. And I just want you to think for a split moment, if you ever remember a shred of love, your grandmother hugging you, your kitten curling up by your neck, your dog excited to see you, if you can just imagine a shred of love, an ounce of love that you've ever felt in your life before, and you feel your heart expand. And some of you, I went, so that means you have this capacity in here, even if it's just this big, that means it's there. And that it's like a flame. It's like a furnace. Your heart is your biggest magnetic field, way more than your mind. Your mind is just like, pew, pew, pew. Like it helps you do things in the immediate, but it's weaker compared to your heart, which is like, that's just the difference. So when we're living, that's why we're saying, when you're living in more heart coherence, heart-mind coherence, you're living from a deeper aspect of yourself because you've been learning these lessons and you've been breadcrumbing yourself back to who you are. That feels like that love, because you do love yourself in some small ways. There are aspects of you that you love, because when you're looking at your dog and it's looking at you and it's happy to see you, you're generating that feeling. You're generating that feeling. And you're like, I love my dog. I love. You're doing it. The dog's not doing that to you. You're doing it. So it's giving me chills because I realized this when I was deeply struggling for a long time, especially in the last year, 2 years. I went through a major identity crisis, a major ego death, like third in my life, but it was by far the worst. Or the most painful, but also the biggest return. And what I learned was that feeling of love is me generating it. And when you really focus on that, and it's not going to all happen at once. Like if you're feeling worthless and like you are struggling, it's not going to just plop. You're going to have this just giant heart opening, but you're going to start with these little things. Like I know I can control the drink. And for a long time, I'm not condoning this, but I would just buy coffee out every day. I was just like, this is my little thing. I can control this. Before I go into work, because I was like working at a different place, I I'm going to just buy my own coffee. And then I ended up making friends with everybody in there. And then when I walk in there and they go, Alicia, right? So you're spreading love. No matter what you do with the actions of love, you're spreading it. So I just want you to remember that you're generating that little piece of love. And when you can just put your attention on that and focus on that more, not over everything and clouding, not forcing it. It's just when you remember, you're just adding a little bit of sweetener to your coffee. Just adding a little bit, instead of drinking it black. If you like black, that's fine. But it's just bitter. Say there's a drink that's bitter and you're just adding a little bit of sugar till it's just right. And yes, I frothed this is a latte. I frothed the whole thing. And now look, I loved myself into buying myself an espresso machine, and now I don't buy coffee out every day. And I save myself like $300, $400 a month because I literally would buy food too in the morning, which was good. That got me to where I am today in a small way. But just maybe make those decisions that help you. And it's not going to look the same for everyone else. That's why you can't listen to anybody else. I hope this helped you in any way. If it did, leave a quick comment. You can subscribe. But also, I really just want you to feel the love that is here for you. Because life just is so much juicier. It doesn't mean everything changes and you're just like in a bikini with the perfect body and the perfect people around you and you're jumping off cliffs and you're having these fun times all the time. It just means that your life right now could be even more vivid and more fulfilling with the people that you love, and people act differently to you and better opportunities comes up and you get trips and you get all these things and you don't have to stress about them. And the more that you practice that, the more those things happen, okay? And there's obviously nothing wrong with you struggling, because that's not a great evaluation of your worth. You're super abundant. Abundance comes from so many different things besides money. It's just the greatest lie we've ever been told. And I just want you to feel love, because you are love and you deserve it. You deserve to feel it in your life, and you deserve it to be reflected from you and to you, but from you, basically. I love you, and I just want to hear from you. Leave a comment and put your name and where you're from, and just, let me just connect with you guys. All right, love ya. Bye.